Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about my idea for a new type of business. I wrote my business model on this idea of a group of personal trainers coming to local school districts to basically improve the quality of physical education that students receive in schools today. And it would be improved because they would learn basic exercises, why they should exercise, and also healthy eating habits and nutrition and all that good stuff. Because, to my knowledge, at least when I was in grade school and high school and taking PE classes, I mean that those things weren't really touched on as much as just like games. And as good as that stuff is, I think students need to learn these important values early in life as well, because many of them really don't learn, really wouldn't learn anything like that outside of a school environment. So to start, I list my key partners as school districts, state governments, and personal training certification organizations. So it would start with school districts because certain school districts would have to approve of this. Obviously, I don't think every district would agree to this or think it's a good idea, and at least not all at the same time. So I think only certain districts would implement this at first, and it would have to start with them clearly. Another thing would be state governments. Um, at, at least in my opinion, I think state governments could maybe, I think as far as I know, state governments have quite a bit of say in what students learn, at least in public schools. And this could be brought to the attention to state governments and legislators, and they can get by that idea and campaign for it. It could even be on the ballot potentially. So yeah, state governments and school districts would definitely play hand in hand in this issue, I think. And personal training certification organizations, obviously, to be a licensed personal trainer, you have to go through certification. You have to at least take classes, and you have to at least take classes and tests to earn the different certifications. Obviously, schools aren't going to hire trainers who don't have these certifications and aren't qualified in their field. Um, for key activities, I listed uh, personal training, obviously. Also, teaching the importance and fundamentals of fitness. That's pretty much the idea I have and what they would be doing when they're at schools. Proven educational methods. Yeah, so basically, these trainers would have to um, these trainers would have to know how to get the information successfully in the heads of these students. And they could seek help from teachers and anything that would help. I also said show the impacts of proper nutrition and healthy lifestyle starting at an early age. Again, that's just kind of one of the basic parts of this whole program as a whole. And then lastly, demonstrate how to build good eating habits for life. For key resources, I listed certified personal trainers. Um, Again, those would be the um, only acceptable type of personal trainer in this potential business plan. Personal trainers who have experience with children and preferably some kind of background in education. Yeah, again, if the more experience they have working with kids or even in education, the better, so they can know how to present the information in a meaningful way. And lastly, well organized lesson plans regarding fitness, nutrition, and wellness. Okay, so for customer relationships, I said committed to helping students make good life choices beginning early in life. That's pretty much the main idea I have behind this business. I think it would very much benefit these children to learn these skills early in life so they can hopefully continue them as they get older. Also conveniently visiting local schools, and lastly, creating a friendly environment and making exercise fun. Because, I mean, kids, especially at this age, they're not interested. They wouldn't be interested. I mean, most of them probably aren't very interested in exercise to begin with, but it would be a great way to get them out of the classroom, get them moving a little. And I mean, if you don't make it fun, if you make it all just presenting information, they're really not going to pay attention. So they would have to find a balance between presenting all this information that's sometimes complicated, as well as making sure the kids are having a good time. For channels, I said proposals to school districts around the country. So I think that trainers that want to get involved in this program, um, other officials that think it's a good idea, um, could present the proposal for this business plan to school districts, local governments, um, present advertising online or anything that would help them market this idea. Um, I also said online resources describing the benefits to this program. Again, that pretty much goes with advertising. Um, and then lastly, I said hold informational meetings for parents because um, I think something that would need to happen with this program, even if a school decides to implement it, I think certain parents may not want their kid to partake in this. Certain parents might not want their kids to necessarily do these exercises maybe when they're 13 or 14 years old. So, or parents would just be maybe um, that unsure that it's worth maybe extra amount of tax dollars or money to the school. So I think a meeting with a parent would just basically be persuading them the benefits of this program, as well as just an overall explanation of what it would be, because parents need to know what their kids are learning and doing in school. For customer segments, I said schools looking to enhance their educational curriculum. Also, schools searching to improve their physical education departments and educate students on the basics of exercise and nutrition. And lastly, it's also for students interested in learning valuable skills in these areas. Those are all pretty much self-explanatory. And then for cost structure, I said personnel training, so obviously paying the trainers, trainer compensation, again, paying the trainers, making sure they get paid for each session, each day, each hour, however they decide to split it up. Um, and then education resources provided to students. This could be textbooks, handouts, anything that would, basically anything they would hand out to the students that they would have to pay for themselves. Um, and then lastly, for revenue streams, I said usage fees, advertising, subscription fees, and service revenue. So advertising, clearly they would need to advertise this. I mean, not just at the beginning to get schools interested, but I, I mean, as a business, they always want to get clients and, or in this case, schools involved in this. So I think they would need to. It would benefit them greatly to have constant advertising on this business. Subscription fees. In some cases, they may have to. I mean, even if they're getting paid, they may have to pay the school for using certain equipment or anything like that. And then service revenue that they would be earning. Clearly, this is a service organization, a service company, so they are doing a service. So that's kind of what that means there. I hope that I've been able to somewhat explain at least some basic ideas for a business plan for this particular business. Um, to my knowledge, there is nothing like this that's out in the market right now. But I think it's a great idea, and I definitely think it would be something very beneficial to students and schools in the future.